Every day, more than 9 people are killed and more than 10,600 people are injured due to accidents involving distracted driving in the United States alone. Distracted driving is driving while engaged in any other activity that takes your attention off the road. In 2012, 3,328 people were killed in crashes that involved a distracted driver. Teen drivers are more likely to be involved in fatal crash that involves distracted driving than any other age group. You do it, I do it, everyone that drives has engaged in a secondary task while driving. Some of us just may not realize it when we are doing it. I'd like to tell you about how driving performance is affected by secondary tasks. And it just so happens to be that April happens to be National Distracted Driving Awareness Month. I will explain to you what a secondary task is. I will describe to you what some examples of secondary tasks may be, and I will discuss how these secondary tasks can affect someone. Any activity that diverts attention away from the primary task of driving is a secondary event. There are 3 main categories that divide up secondary tasks. Catherine Holland, a journalist for Good Morning America, stated that these categories in 2014. The first type of distraction is the visual distraction. That is considered anything that takes your eyes away from the road. Holland's article states that the next type of distraction is called a manual distraction. These distractions involve taking your hands off the wheel. The final distraction is cognitive distractions. This includes anything that takes your mind off driving. Now that you know what a secondary task is, let's explore some of the main examples of secondary tasks. You might be surprised by some of the events that distract driving performance, and you might even be guilty of some of them. The first example is smoking-related distractions. Smoking-related distractions can include anything such as smoking, lighting up, or ashing. About 1% of accidents were caused by distractions from smoking. Although it may not seem like it's a lot, it's still a significant number. An example of a secondary task that may be hard to control is daydreaming while driving. Christina Bramlett, a reporter for Property Casualty 360, stated in 2013 that driving in a fog, or daydreaming, is considered the most dangerous form of distracted driving. Daydreamers account for 62% of distracted driving involved in fatal accidents. The most concerning distraction is the mobile phone. In an academic research study published in 2014 in the American Journal of Public Health, Dr. Ferdinand reported that along with the exponential growth of the use of the mobile phone, more people have been using their phone while driving. Texting while driving falls into all 3 of the categories previously mentioned. There has also been an increase in the number of motor vehicle crashes correlating to the increase in phone usage. A recently popular sensation is taking a selfie while driving. This task also falls into the 3 categories from previously mentioned. So now that you are familiar with the main types of driving distractions, I will explain to you how they affect one's driving. Not only can driving while engaging in these secondary activities affect your driving performance, but it can affect yours or someone else's life. The distractions stated previously all affect your driving in different ways. Listening to music while driving falls in the categories of manual and cognitive distractions. 2% of distracted drivers admitted that adjusting the radio or some other control led to a fatal incident. Listening to music can also lead to another distraction, daydreaming. Daydreaming obviously distracts you cognitively. William Hampton, a writer for Popular Mechanics, wrote in 2013 that more than 5 times more fatal crashes were a result of daydreaming than using a cell phone. Attempt to prevent daydreaming is chewing gum while driving. Using your phone while driving is one of the most common forms of distracted driving. Texting while driving is 6 times more likely to cause an accident than driving intoxicated. Many states are enacting laws that ban the use of cell phones while driving. It is impossible for the human brain to multitask. Instead of doing different tasks simultaneously, our brain processes and finishes the task that reaches the central mechanism first. In 2008, an academic research study published 4 years ago in Applied Cognitive Psychology, Levi and Pashler reported that most participants failed to abort a low-priority task in order to favor the task of braking. In conclusion, driving while engaged in a secondary task is an awful thing a whole lot of people commit. Today I have informed you about distracted driving. I have explained to you what a secondary task is. I have discussed some examples of these secondary tasks, and I have described how these secondary tasks can affect your driving performance. I hope that you have a general understanding about distracted driving and that will become more aware of the things you possibly do behind the wheel that can divert your attention. Now, the next time you go to read that text, remember that it can wait till you're parked safely without hurting yourself or someone else.